Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with the Chance of Meeples. Today we're packing our bags. We're heading to the East Coast. We are heading to upstate New York. Gonna check out the Empire State Building. We all have a ticket to ride. And so today we will be taking a look at, you got it, Ticket to Ride New York. Okay, so the radar overview for Ticket to Ride New York. Setup's pretty simple. You take the main board, you put it in the middle of the table, you shuffle then all of these, which would be train cards in the original one. On this one, they got just old buses and the wild taxi. So you shuffle all those up, you give 2 to each player. Next thing you do, you take all the destination cards, you shuffle these up, and again, you give 2 to each player, and they can choose to keep both, or they can choose to take one. If this was one that I took, I would then get, let's get that in the frame, 6 points at the end of the game if I can connect Times Square to Soho. Any cards that you don't keep go on the bottom of the pile. Each player takes a set of 15 little taxis. Of course, they're not just jumbled up like this. You take your respective color. I just wanted to show you just the different colors. So there you are. On your turn, you have one of 3 actions to do. First thing you can do is you can collect more of these little taxi or cab cards. You can either take any 2 that you see here, unless you take a wild, then you can only take 1. So in this situation, I could take the red and the orange, or I could take the red and the black, or I could just take the wild. If I didn't like any of these, I could take 2 off the top and just gamble. And if this was my turn, that would be a pretty sweet gamble. I would add those to my hand of cards. The second thing you can do is you can claim a route between 2 adjacent spots on the map. So between, let's say, United Nations and Empire State Building, if I hit 2 black, I could play that. If I wanted to go between Times Square and United Nations here, I could use 2 of any set. So it could be 2 black, 2 pink, 2 blue. It could be a wild and a black, a wild and a blue. It could be 2 wilds. Regardless, you would discard those 2 cards, and then you would put your trains, or in this case, your little taxi cabs, connecting these 2. This one also has, much like every other ticket ride, double routes. In a 2-player game, you can only use one of these double routes. In the higher player count, both of them are open. The third thing you can do on your turn is you could take more of these destination cards. You would again take 2 of these, and then you would choose to keep either one or both of them. Remembering that any of these that you do not complete at the end of the game is minus points. So if I would keep this one, United Nations to Wall Street, if I finished it at the end of the game, I'd get 8 points. If I didn't finish it, I would get minus 8 points. So a balance as to when you want to take more routes, if at all, during the game. So turns just go around the table until one player has 2 or fewer taxi cabs left. At that point, that triggers the end of the game. Everybody gets one final turn, including the player that initiated that final round. And then you add up your scores. Scoring pretty simple. Much like all the other ticket rides, it even comes with a nice little score pad. You would first add up all of your routes. So, routes score depending on how long a route between 2 adjacent spots are. So in this case, single cabs are worth 1 point each. Double cabs, or routes with 2, are 2 points. You see these other ones, this green one and this pink one, 3 cars would be needed. They'd be worth 4 points. And then on this map, there's one that's a 4 length, and that would be worth 7 points. You total up those points, then you add and subtract any of your destination cards, and then this game also has this little tourist attraction spot. So all these little copper pennies, For each one that you are touching at the end of the game, you get a bonus point. So then I would get 1, 2, 3, or 4, pardon me, if this was my example here. And you total up, whoever has the most points is the winner. Okay, so the final forecast for Ticket to Ride New York. Back in 2004, Days of Wonder released a game which would change the board gaming hobby, and that, of course, was the original Ticket to Ride. And since then, millions of copies of Ticket to Ride have been purchased or sold. On top of that, countless expansions, countless standalone games, everywhere from Germany to Nordic countries to Europe to Asia, Italy, France, you name it, there's probably a Ticket to Ride map about it. And back in 2018, Days of Wonder decided to scale back a little bit, and they released the first of, which is now 3 in these smaller box Ticket to Rides. First time I saw this, I was quite intrigued. I've always been a fan of Ticket to Ride. I love just the simplicity of, on your turn, you have 3 choices. You either take train cards, or in this version, take little taxi cards, or you claim a route on the map, or you take destination tickets. And since the beginning, those 3 choices seem simple, but man, Ticket to Ride, just a great family game. And this edition in the collection is no different. Few things that really stand out. I love how quick it is. It says 15 minutes on the box, but let's be honest. For me and my wife, we can play 3 rounds in 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. But I love that. Furthering on that, my wife and I have kind of done that. We play 3 rounds, and we call them 3 trips around New York, and we add our 3 scores together, and then whoever has the highest score is the winner. So I think it lends itself very well to that. I love the 60s flair. Even the rule book, I think, is fantastic. It just looks like a pamphlet. Welcome to New York. Welcome to the Big Apple. I think that's really, really sweet. As mentioned, the 60s flair. I love the train cars or the car cards. You got the taxi for the wild, and just all these vehicles dating back to the 60s. Just makes me want to sit up, pull up a chair in a little ice cream shop and just listen to the music of the 60s and enjoy a hamburger, because I love hamburgers. But more on that a different time. Another thing I love about this game, it teaches very well. And again, this is a very condensed version of Ticket to Ride. But I really like that, because if you are new to the gaming hobby, you'll go to a gaming store and you'll see the original Ticket to Ride on the shelf, and it'll be like $60. Well, I have to say, if you're used to purchasing games from mass market stores like a Walmart or like a Target, $60 is a lot of money. But Ticket to Ride New York can offer you the great experience of Ticket to Ride for a fraction of the cost of the base game, and it'll give you a chance to, get your feet wet and let you, like I said, it'll let you experience the game, and then you can decide if you want to purchase the bigger box. And so I think the price point is great for what you get. Another thing I really like about the size of this game is it has the size that you can take it camping. You can take it to restaurants instead of going to restaurants and pulling out your phone. Of course, I should back this up if you ever are able to go to a restaurant in these times. But just a side note, you go to a restaurant, instead of pulling out your phone, pull a Ticket to Ride New York. By the time your food's there, you played around and you've just enjoyed the company of those who you're eating and having fellowship with. I think that's amazing. It's a cool little game, a size that you can just chuck it in your backpack, go for a walk, open it up on a picnic table, and just enjoy the weather and playing games outside. So I think it's great. I have the original Ticket to Ride, and of course I have this one as well. And I think there is room on your shelf for both of them for those points. Much like all the other Ticket to Rides, the scoring is pretty much the same, but it has that one little new scoring mechanism. You get 1 point for every tourist attraction. So kind of most of them are up in the middle of the board, so it gets pretty congested, much like many of the Ticket to Ride maps. And I just think this is just a testament to the Ticket to Ride franchise as a whole. They're just amazing family games, so check out Ticket to Ride New York. Looking at it on the scale of the Chance of Meeples, I'm giving this one a solid 85% Chance of Meeples, because I really think for the things that I said, the price point's good. It gives you a chance to decide if you want to spend, $60 on the bigger game. Gives you a chance to decide that. You can pack it easily in a backpack for camping or an outing for the day, and just, yes, Ticket to Ride, 85% Chance of Meeples. There you have it. Follow us on Facebook if you want more info on Ticket to Ride New York, as well as just what's going on at Cloudy at the Chance of Meeples. Until next time, grab your umbrellas, because the forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.